I found my internship in kind of a backdoor way, but it worked out great for me. In July of 2018, I took the Family 460 class. One of my assignments was to do an interview with a supervisor in a helping organization. I did an internet search, and I found the Family Support and Treatment Center in Orem, Utah. I interviewed the prevention coordinator and learned about the Family Support and Treatment Center mission and her own experiences with working there. As an afterthought, at the end of the interview, I asked if they offered internships to students. Fortunately for me, they were interested in an intern for that fall. I wasn't really actively looking for an internship yet because I had planned to do my internship starting in the second half of September. I am glad it worked out that I found an internship when I did, however, because there was plenty of time to get the internship approved, get a background check done, and start some training early. By the time the quarter started in September, I was ready to go and able to schedule about 20 hours per week. I would definitely recommend looking for an internship a few months before you are ready to start, and be open to any possibility. Family Support and Treatment Center has a 3-part mission: preventing harm, providing hope, and healing relationships. They accomplish this through parenting classes and trauma resilience training, the respite nursery, and child and family therapy. This includes play therapy and sand therapy. Play therapy is a way to help children feel comfortable with a therapist. It is also informative in the way that children play and their choice of toys. There's also an art therapy room. The Family Support and Treatment Center offers therapy for children, parents, and couples, though I did not work much on the therapy side. I mostly worked in prevention, which is education and support for parents. The center offers parenting classes and a respite nursery where parents can drop off their kids for up to 3 hours a week, for any reason. Respite is a rest from difficulties or life's stressors. Parents that have adopted children through the foster care program are offered in-home child care so they too can have a break. Children that have been through the foster care system often have special needs or difficult behavior problems. It's hard for their parents to find child care providers that can manage children with special needs or difficulties. I learned 4 different jobs at Family Support and Treatment Center. The respite nursery also always needed help, so anytime I could do some hours there, I did. I also worked at the front desk about once a week when they needed someone to fill in. I did adoption respite visits, and I taught a parenting class for parents that have temporarily lost custody of their children. I often attended prevention meetings, and I enjoyed working with and learning from the whole team. I was assigned a special project during my internship. I planned the Family Fall Festival, which occurred towards the end of my internship. It involved carnival games, prizes, crafts, food, and most of all, a chance for families to enjoy some time together. I think I brought some fresh ideas to the fall festival planning, and I spent a lot of time getting everything ready. The management team asked me to do this activity with no budget, which I was able to do. We provided a free lunch for the families attending, and I had to work to get the food donated. For the other supplies, I used what was available at the Family Support and Treatment Center. They get a lot of donations, not all of them useful, but I was able to find enough for decorations, games, and crafts. This was challenging at times and required a lot of creativity. The main benefit that I provided to Family Support and Treatment Center was free labor, of course. As a nonprofit, Family Support and Treatment Center relies on donations, government grants, and volunteers to make their budget. The more volunteers they have, the more children and families that they can serve. I spent quite a bit of time in the nursery, and the nursery leaders came to depend on me, especially when one of them was unable to work for several weeks because of a car accident. I was also able to serve several families by doing adoption respite visits. There's a waiting list for this service, and many of the families had not had any visits for quite some time. I learned new things through doing various jobs. I also learned by shadowing the education specialists as they presented in schools, community, and provider training settings. Additionally, when I was working in the nursery, I learned there as well, though I did not expect that, because I already have a lot of experience working in childcare. However, they use play therapy language in the nursery, so learning play therapy language and putting it into practice was something new to me. I also enjoyed getting to know the nursery staff and the children. I learned from helping to teach the parenting class. The education specialist I work with was a natural at teaching, and she was very patient and supportive. We had a good group of participants, all of whom have had their struggles, but they were trying to do better. I appreciated their honesty and their willingness to learn. I probably made the most connections to my previous coursework at BYUI while I was teaching the parenting class. I have my own experience with parenting, but I learned about families, parenting, and marriage at BYUI. This especially helped me to feel competent and confident teaching others how to parent. Many of the parents were attending the class on a court order to try to regain custody of their children. Their lifestyles and life choices were very different from mine, so what I have learned about perspective taking at BYUI was also helpful to try and make personal connections. The curriculum, Love, Limits, and Latitude, was not one that I was familiar with specifically, but most of the concepts were very familiar to what I had learned at many of my classes at BYUI. I have learned a lot about marriage and family using the ideas and research from the Gottman Institute. But this was something new. In addition to that, I was able to learn emotion coaching. I had not studied parenting skills necessarily taught by John Gottman before, but I found them to be very useful. I was able to enjoy an interesting experience when I was asked to help with the clothesline project at Utah Valley University. For 2 days, Family Support and Treatment Center had a booth at the project, along with other community helping organizations. When I could, I walked around and talked to other organizations to see what part of the community they served and what services they had to offer. The Clothesline Project is a chance for victims of violence to share their story. It is part artistic display. It is part therapy, and it is a learning experience for those that attend. Violence in families is one of the issues the Family Support and Treatment Center works to prevent. Rochelle Hardman is a prevention coordinator at Family Support and Treatment Center. She was my supervisor during my internship, and she would be the contact person for any other students seeking an internship. The Family Support and Treatment Center likes to have interns. I even heard a wish for an accounting intern, if you happen to know anyone. They also like to have master level interns. This internship was a good experience for me. I learned a lot, I made new friends, and I got to try out several different jobs. Family Support and Treatment Center is an excellent place to do an internship or to volunteer. They are always happy to get new volunteers.